Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday, April the 10th. Got some stuff to go over with you, and then we'll take your questions. But for those of you that have been calling in and surely offering up your prayers and everything, for Kathy underwent hip replacement surgery, last week at Ruby Memorial and at WVU. The surgery was really an amazing success and everything. She was overnight in the hospital and then back home, and she seems to be doing good, and it's amazing. But we thank Dr. Dietz. What an incredible job he did and everything, and the whole team at WVU. But great work, especially another thanks to Clay Marsh and all those involved. But Kathy's doing good, and we just got to get her back to doing great. Last week, in regard to the state of emergency, we first declared a few counties, and then that broadened to 12 different counties. I would tell you that we tragically lost a lady, that was driving in a high water area in Wood County. Also, there's been several people that have been treated for different types of injuries and everything. National Weather, told us that we had 7 different tornadoes. That's surely the highest since 1970s, so 50 years plus. And so it's, I had the opportunity to look at some of the damage right outside of Hyco in Fayette County, and it's devastating. But what is really the most devastating about the whole thing to me is it's going to be difficult to get FEMA across the finish line. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that in just a second, but we're trying. And we've been successful on FEMA in the past, and you've seen that, whether it be in Mingo or the Wayne counties or whatever it was, where we had those bad storms and everything. It took a long, long, long time. But when it really, really boils right down to it, in Kanawha County and Fayette County and all the different folks and everything that are affected, the problem with FEMA is they want a great number of people that are affected, or great amount of property damage and everything that's affected. Remember just one thing, and that is just this. Jim Justice put in his State of the State address, in his budget, I put in my budget $50 million to address stuff just like this. There's a fire chief at Nuttall, and absolutely right, not far from there, his whole home is gone, just gone, and everything. How can we help that man? That $50 million would have been sending dollars and being able to help that man today. Today, we cut it out of our budget. A finance chair with more knowledge than all of us put together said, no, we don't need that. And here we've got a lot of dollars, or surplus dollars, and I'm telling you, I'm not going to be your governor forever. But absolutely, with all in me, it is frivolous for us to not create a bucket to where we can help folks when they have situations that are just, whether it be a mudslide or a flooding event, or God forbid, another tornado event. But with all that being said, we have got to have the ability to have the foresight, especially now, to create a bucket. And I'm going to put it back on my call when I call our legislature back in probably now after the election in the last part of May. But when I call them back, it'll be back on the call. And absolutely, with our surplus dollars, we ought to create the bucket. And then we're going to have to continue to replenish the bucket as we go forward. There's too many incidences where really, really good people across this state that we can't get them qualified for FEMA, but we could still have an emergency fund to be able to help them. Go back, stay the state address. It's right in my budget right now, and absolutely we didn't pass it. We just cut it out and everything. It doesn't make one bit of sense in the world to me. But all that being said, what we are going to try to do, we're going to try to combine all the storms. You know, the bad storms in the northern Panhandle and everything that caused that terrible flooding up through there and everything. We're going to try to combine them with the tornado events at the same time and put them all together and get us FEMA qualified that way. You know, we did the exact same thing with the flooding in Kanawha County and everything, but absolutely, you know, we're trying to put them all together. The last thing I would tell you is, not only did we lose, you know, all kinds of stuff and everything, but the last go round, this thing went all the way to the White House. We fought and fought and fought and fought, and we won. But that's a long, long, long process, and we ought to be helping folks like that guy that's the fire chief over there, and we ought to be helping him today. But we just, you know, it's really, really difficult to find a way to make all that happen right now. We're trying, and we're going to keep on trying. But, you know, this putting everything together is going to increase our likelihood, but there's no guarantees with that. But, you know, the only other thing I've got to report here is, you know, I noticed, you know, that, you know, the cemetery where 200 graves were devastated. And Mount Zion Cemetery, right outside of Wheeling, you know, it's just, a lot of those graves go all the way back to the Civil War. So it's just, you know, we have these events in West Virginia because our mountains are severe and everything. And with all that being said, we've just got to be able to respond better than what we're responding. And we have built these incredible surpluses, and we just got to be able to, first and foremost, I have said it 10,000 times, you know, instead of putting together and hoarding back money for some pet project somewhere, we need to take care of our people. It's the people's money. It's the people's money. It's not the legislature's money. It's not my money. It's the people's money. And we need to absolutely be rewarding them and giving money back to them and addressing issues just like what I'm talking about. You know, today at SBA, one of the things we did pass, you know, was that, you know, I put in my budget, I wanted $150 more million to be able to go to our schools, you know, and so today at SBA, you know, we got that passed, we got that in the budget and everything, $150 million flowing to SBA. You know, we had a whole bunch of projects and everything that were really projects that we passed over. And we went back and we captured all of them, we cleaned the slate. Right there is all kinds of superintendents all across our state and everything in different counties and everything. 21 different projects. Now it's a total of, I think, 21 different counties. You know, it's really, it can't get any better than that. But I got to tell you this story real quick. Yesterday, I was in the Eastern Panhandle. I was doing something in Berkeley County to where I was giving them a check from SBA for $25 million for 2 new schools that were basically for elementary age kids. We had a packed house of a bunch of elementary kids and some really, really talented folks that, you know, that played to us and everything and displayed their incredible artistic skills and everything. They were unbelievable as well. But with all that being said, after it was over, I had Baby Dog with me, and all the elementary school kids, you know, came in a real orderly line and petted Baby Dog, said hi to her and everything. And as they were going by, you know, as long as I live, Jim Justice won't forget this. But as they were going by, here's this little boy, and, you know, he's got this wild-looking hair and everything, a handsome little kid and everything, and he's probably a first grader. And he said, thank you for making me feel happy. Oh, gosh. You know, listen, our kids are so precious, it's off the chart. And sometimes we get so busy and everything, we just kind of maybe some way shove it into the background just how important that our kids are. And really and truly, the more we can do to have better facilities and better opportunities for our children, the more they'll learn, the better they'll be. And not only that, what an economic driver it is to be able to show the world when they come to visit and say, we're looking at moving to West Virginia. We're looking at coming to West Virginia. You know, absolutely with all in us, do you really not realize, all of us should realize wholeheartedly that the very first thing that a company wants to know about that's going to relocate folks to West Virginia, how's the schools? How's the schools? Second thing, how are the roads? You know, the things that we have addressed and addressed head on. So we congratulate all those, you know, with the School Building Authority and our education departments and on and on and on. We've got a whole lot of new projects that are going to be happening all across our land in our counties and our, you know, so our communities are going to just be enhanced in every way. I think this is 16 existing school renovations, 2 new schools. It's a total of 18 counties. I mentioned before, you know, 21 counties. You know, if we put together the 111 million that we just did, and now 150 more million, or 149 million and change, and everything, we put them all together, I think we're touching real close to $261+ million, the biggest in history wholeheartedly and everything, and we can do it, we can afford it and everything. It's absolutely just going to make us better. So let's just keep doing it, and I'm really proud to say this, but since I walked in the door, I think the number is we have dispersed $643 million with the local county matches with $363 more million. We've absolutely invested in our schools in excess of $1 billion. And so makes me really proud, really, really proud. The justice system is announcing grants of $2.4 million in West Virginia Justice Reinvestment Grants. That's not me, Justice, but the justice system. And these funds will be distributed to 13 worthwhile projects across the state. This is just going to help people with treatment and lots of different things that we can do in rehabilitation, in their recovery and everything. It's just going to make us better. Okay, I was also in the Eastern Panhandle. I was on the Route 9 highway. You can see that there can be a lot of congestion. We weren't at the rush hours and everything when I know good and well from talking to all the people there that traffic backs up forever and everything, and a lot of different obstacles and everything. We've had our Department of Transportation looking at this for a long time. You know, I give you know, Paul Espinoza and our Senate President Craig Blair an unbelievable amount of credit, because if it hadn't have been for Craig Blair coming right to our office and my office and sitting down with me and absolutely stressing just how important that highway right behind me there is to those folks up there. And it's a bridge from Martinsburg, I think, all the way through to Hedgesville and maybe even on to Berkeley Springs. But nevertheless, I can tell you that area is growing and growing leaps and bounds. You can see right there that our Department of Transportation, Jimmy Riston and all those folks, they have come up with a 15-point improvement strategy to be able to make things lots better, and with turn lanes and roundabouts and ways that we can truly make things a whole lot better and move the traffic along in a more expeditious way. So all that being said, I think good things are going to be happening to Route 9 in the Eastern Panhandle, and they're going to be happening now. They're not going to be happening, in a matter of, we're going to study in another year and we're going to get to it in 2 more years. And that's not the case. I'm always the most impatient guy in the room, and I can tell you that when our Senate president comes to me, he doesn't come to me with just frivolous or smaller things. When he comes, he's got an issue that is really, really, really significant and everything. And so we addressed it, and I think we're going to have some really good stuff that's going to happen on Route 9. But that's all I've got right now. We'll take your questions. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Governor. Let's now take some questions from the media. First up, Charles Young with WV News.
Hi, this is Charles Young with WV News. Governor, you just mentioned adding the establishment of this disaster fund to your special session call. As we get closer to this May special session, the list of things that people would like to see added to the call keeps increasing. You just mentioned another one. Do you have an idea at this point, how wide-ranging the call will be? Thank you.
Charles, it'll be significant, but it won't be wide-ranging. I mean, it will be specific to absolutely what we think need to be addressed. The $50 million in regard to emergency funds because of catastrophic events within our state is something that is so important. It's unbelievable. I mean, for crying out loud, if you'd been there, here's a big guy that is the fire chief at Nuttall. And, and my gracious, he was on the job while his house was blowing away. He was at the fire station trying, if he had to get one of the fire engines out of the building because he was worried about the damage to the fire engine while his house was blowing away. And literally, in many ways, he was really blessed because, his wife and dogs and everything else under the sun, he raises beagles, and he didn't lose, there was no loss of life. He even had a little litter of beagle puppies that were like 4 days old, but all that being said, everybody is okay, from the standpoint of that, but his house is gone. All of his precious belongings and everything, they're gone. And there that man stands and everything, still trying to help all of us. I mean, come on. Why in the world don't we have an emergency fund that we can draw from like this and everything? And so I'm going to surely put that back on the call, but nevertheless, we'll have items on the call. It'll be significant, but it won't be as broad ranging maybe as what you may think, because we're not going to just put on the call everything everybody comes up with.
All right, thank you, Charles. Let's now go to Rachel Pellegrino with WOWK.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Rachel with 13 News. I know we kind of discussed this a little bit, but I know you talked about the long-term assistance with the emergency fund for the severe weather victims and also FEMA assistance as well. But I did want to ask, what are some more specific immediate actions that the state is going to take right now? I know you mentioned possibly using the surplus funding for some of these victims as well. I know I actually met a few victims in Kanawha County that also lost their homes as well with the weather last week.
Is it Rachel? Is that correct? But CJ, we got to turn the volume down, and we got to get this question one more time.
Okay, let me go one more time. Okay, so I know we already discussed, you kind of mentioned just some long-term assistance for severe weather victims, like the emergency fund, as well as working on FEMA assistance. But what are some more specific immediate actions that the state's going to take right now? I know you mentioned possibly using surplus funding. Is there plans to be able to use that? I know I met a few different people in Kanawha County that actually lost their homes as well last week.
Okay, I've got it enough. I think I can answer it and everything. But the first part of this is this. We should take surplus dollars and create this fund. Then what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to, because it's going to have to be funded, as we go forward. Well, we've got to put it in the budget going forward that it absolutely will be continued to be replenished, because we're going to have issues. I mean, that's all there is to it. And really, any type of issue that can genuinely step up, we'll have people that can review, or if we need a board, we'll do that, or whatever. We may not be able to do every single one, but absolutely we'll have issues, and we'll look at, first and foremost, going to the insurance of the home, the homeowners, whatever it may be. But with all that being said, then we'll be able to do things to be able to address local community needs. But we need to do this, I mean, for crying out loud, especially while we have the opportunity to do it with surplus dollars and create a bucket.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. Let's now go to Stephen Allen Adams with Ogden News. All right, apologies. Stephen is already gone. Let's now go to Brad McElhaney with West Virginia Metro News.
Hi, Governor. Hi, everybody. Governor, a month ago, your administration's tax department filed 7 liens for unpaid sales taxes owed by the Greenbrier Hotel for a total of $3.5 million. Meanwhile, the Greenbrier Hotel owes almost $2.5 million additionally in county property taxes. Have you heard from the people running the Greenbrier about the cause of these late taxes? Is the resort having trouble paying, or is it willful disregard? Should your tax department apply more pressure, such as suspending the resort's liquor license or the casino license? Surely Greenbrier County and the state of West Virginia need the money for public programs like the ones you've described in this briefing. Thank you.
Brad, to be perfectly honest, and maybe I should check, but I don't know the details. I really don't, and really and truly, I can tell you that, if you'll just go back and look at the track record, we preoccupy ourselves with what's going on within justices' families' businesses. But yet, at the end of the day, things always get paid, don't they? Absolutely, things will always get paid, and there's not going to be an obligation that we're going to leave hanging. We're not going to do that. And you may think, well, how in the world could Jim Justice not check on this stuff? Because Jim Justice is not here to be checking on what's going on with my businesses. I've got people that are running that. What Jim Justice is here to do is take care of the people of the great state of West Virginia. And that's what I do, Brad. Really and truly, I haven't checked on it because I know it'll be paid. It's just as simple as just that. Whenever they got the money or maybe the obligation's not even due, I don't know, but it'll be paid.
All right, thanks, Brad. I think we have a final question from Jessica Patterson with Nexstar Media. Jessica, are you there?
Out of my interview, here I am, so Jess is not going to sub in for me. Here's my question, Governor. You mentioned the special session. And during the regular session, there was a bipartisan effort on behalf of both parties to get some child care tax credits or child care subsidies, especially with all the new companies coming to West Virginia, Nucor Steel and Form Energy and Pure Watercraft and on and on and on. These companies need workers, and one of the ways they're looking to get workers is to get, two-parent families the child care help they need so both parents can go to work. So will there be anything in the special session call to deal with that child care issue and the need in this? Thank you.
Mark, I don't know yet. I don't want to just overburden the amount that's going to be on the call. But I can tell you this, and I put it in my budget, and I recommended it in the state of the state that what we needed to do, we absolutely needed to be able to address in a real positive way all the younger families that are coming to West Virginia. And we had a bill, in regard to a tax credit for working families, and I don't know what happened. It never got off the ground, and so I again, I think as far as the total dollars, not significant, and but yet a way to really help our young families, our working families that are coming to West Virginia. It's, to me, I don't know how in the world, when we can afford it, why on earth do we absolutely just throw all kinds of roadblocks in giving people tax breaks and giving them their money back? And the only thing I can possibly throw out is just this: why do we throw the roadblocks? And here's what we do, and it's the beatingest thing in the world. But let's just tell the truth. What is going on is an effort to try to hoard the money, and Jim Justice then will be gone. And when Jim Justice is gone, and they have a great big pool of money and everything, then we can do pet projects and stuff. Well, see, Jim Justice didn't do pet projects. I don't believe in that. I believe in getting our people back to our money back to our people. We've done it 24 times now since I walked in the door. 24 different types of tax cuts since I walked in the door. We had two more. To do this go round and everything, and we just poo-pooed them. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay, thanks everybody. Mark, thank you. Governor, back to you.
Well, let me look here real quick. Again, we appreciate your prayers for Kathy, and she's doing good. All that's great. Please offer up your prayers in every way for all those that have been devastated by the tornadoes or the flooding or whatever it may be. We're still trying with all INAs, and we're going to keep trying to figure a way to help these folks and everything. From the Small Business, Authority, I want you to know just this, that they're doing great work. Another $150 million in the last 12 months, $261 million in renovations and new schools all across the state. So much more that needs to be done and everything. We're going to keep on trying and continue to try to do more and more that we possibly can. Don't forget the little boy, in the Eastern Panhandle in Berkeley County that said, and how important and how precious is it to say, thank you for making me feel happy, and that's what we need to do with our children every day. Make them feel safe, make them feel happy. God bless each and every one of you. Thank y'all.